So you mentioned jiu-jitsu a little bit. What's you is an interesting difference between jiu-jitsu and judo that you've observed? Because you're one of the greatest ever on the ground in judo, and so jiu-jitsu is primarily focused on similar type of stuff on the ground. So what do you use an interesting difference there?
They're a different approach, different time scale to them, and they have a different way in. So, like ours comes from a standing position directly in. We've got a time scale on it, so we have to like the catch. What I always talk about the catch, because in judo terms, if you don't get the catch immediately, then the referee won't see the transition in, and also the continuation from plan A, B, C, D. If something builds, so we have to build it. And we have to build it quickly. And I think in jiu-jitsu terms, you have more time to build.
Yeah, there's a kind of patience, like, oh, if this doesn't work out, I can try a different thing.
Yeah, just
with judo, there's like an urgency, like
there's an urgency.
Everything, and there's a ref watching skeptically, so you better show that you're making progress.
You've got to show the progression, and that's why I always had a plan A, B, C. You see there with that was 1981. There, the great Kashiwazaki had a progression. Everything was, he knew exactly where he had to be. It was feel. That wasn't by accident. It was trained, and I think that transition there and taking control of somebody's mistake. So somebody might have made a mistake or not hit properly, or your defense has caused them to make a mistake, and then you take advantage of it. And that is the difference.
So one of the side effects of that, I don't know, with the chicken or the egg, but judo people on the ground are much more aggressive. So probably because of the urgency, but just like there's an intention behind the progress you're making. I think jiu-jitsu is more relaxed. There's more a culture of just finding places to relax and think of different control and positions and take your time. And as a result, it's much, much less exhausting. So you can go for much longer. It feels like judo is exhausting.
It's that 10-second blast, isn't it? It's like doing sprints all the time.
Yeah.
And that is really hard. And that's a special kind of condition you need. And you need to be able to catch it and know when to go and when not to go. And I think also, I know I was going to ask you, you think it make a difference? I mean, certain jiu-jitsu, you can't just throw yourself on your back, into the guard. You have to throw into the situation, what I mean? So you have got, I know Roger Gracie, he decided that he was going to learn judo. He saw the importance of being able to throw for the transition in. And so he came to the Budokai and he was learning off Ray Stevens, and they were doing really a lot of judo.
Well, he's a fascinating study because he does the most basic stuff, and he does
it well.
Like we did, like another level of well. It's like Yamashita. Everyone knows what's coming with Roger Gracie, but he just does it anyway against the best people in the world. It's crazy. He's like everybody in jiu-jitsu at white belt learns the techniques he's using. And he just does it.
Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. But he has about 1,000 ways in.
Yeah. I mean, and the 1,000 ways are in the details, so it kind of might even look the same to people. But he finds a way to choke people. So he's on top of them, mounted in a sort of judo pin position, and everyone knows what's coming next against the best people in the world, and you should be able to defend it, but nobody can. It's crazy.
I think there's the power element as well, that you don't realize how, when somebody's directed in a particular way, then you have that kind of element of absolute power that you can only feel like when Roger's doing a technique. I think that you would only feel it if he did it on you, then you can feel it. It's not something that happens, so tricks is one thing, but actually being able to do something really well from a power point of view, it's like you say, he only does those few things, but he does them really, really, really well.
Yeah, I don't know what that is about. Actually, judo pins is a very interesting case study as well, because people are able to feel so heavy. One of the things judoka are able to do is pin extremely well.
Yeah.
Like, and it makes you realize that it's not about the weight; it's about some kind of technique that makes people feel like they weigh 1,000 pounds.
It's about weight distribution
Yeah.
and change of balance. You know what? A lot of people don't realize that there's huge changes of balance in on the ground. Massive. You know what it's like. I mean, you know, you're a jiu-jitsu man, and you know, the detail of the techniques is what really interests me. You know, I mean, I'm always looking small ideas. You know, I'm always looking at the jiu-jitsu, and it fascinates me. You know, I would have done jiu-jitsu for sure, but I wouldn't have forgotten the judo way in to the techniques. You know what I mean? I think that you've got to differentiate the two. But I would have loved the jiu-jitsu. I would have absolutely loved it. You know, but it wasn't as prominent then. You know, where the Newaza came from, it came from a mistake, me getting beaten in a particular contest, and I went, I'm not going to be beaten again on the ground.
That's
how it happened.
Yeah, well, yeah, this story of your life is like a loss creates the phoenix rises.
Well, it
from the
just
ash.
it was 1978, and it was you know, it wasn't a mistake. It was a particular movement, and I was fighting weight up from what my normal weight, but I stayed in the same position for 1 second too long, got caught and
Choked.
Sangaku, yeah, triangle.
Wow.
And I said, I literally, just the same as I said to you when I said, I'm not going to drink anymore. I came off and I said, I'm never going to get caught on the ground.
Yeah, never going to lose on the ground. Ever,
and I never lost in my whole competitive career again.
Wow. But yeah, I should mention that there's nothing like a pin from a judo person. And I don't actually know if people in jiu-jitsu have made sense of that, like loaded that in.
But it's not part of the game, is it? You know, the pin, it's submission.
Yeah, but you know, control is part of the game.
Right.
And nobody controls a human body the way judo people do on the ground. Like, they have understood the science of control. And I think control is extremely useful in jiu-jitsu as well. It's just that people don't, because there's so many other domains of exploration. But that's
interesting.
I mean, just and especially when you apply jiu-jitsu to the fighting setting, so mixed martial arts, that control, that side control, that pin control is really, really, really important. So, but then you add punching to the thing, and it becomes
that puts a whole different thing on it, doesn't it?